Hi everybody, this is Dr. Adam Shelton, and this is our pop rock show cool down exercise video. So when we're warming up, generally we're not only getting the voice moving, but we're also skill building at the same time. A cool down exercise is not going to be a skill building exercise, but instead it's a way to rejuvenate and relax the muscles from the demands of what we've done in pop rock styles. So we want to make sure that airflow based phonation is top priority and that we're not adding any stress or any strain to the voice. So the exercises are going to be a much shorter spectrum that we're going to work with, and they're predominantly going to be focused on the throat. So we're going to take a lot of the element of actual sound production and any kind of projection outside of the voice and bring it all internal, so there's no incidental, shall we say, addition to tension or any kind of additional exercise that's being added by this process. So the two things you really need today are a straw, makeup tutorial style, am I right? And a cup of water or a water bottle that doesn't have a ton of water. This has maybe 4 ounces max in it, that if you can see, it's maybe my thumb's width of water, because what we don't want is a ton of water spilling out. And we just need a little bit of resistance from the water as we phonate through the straw. So, simply put, we're going to take the straw, insert it about a half an inch into the mouth, close the lips around it, but not clarinet style. We don't want embouchure kind of training. Like so. We want loose, kind of like milkshake drinking straw effect. And we're going to stick the straw in the water. You should hold on to the straw at first, that as you get a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more skill, you can bubble into the water with a loose straw. And of course, if you have fat wrists, your watch may activate. But that with the straw in the water, we're looking for even, consistent bubblage. And so we're going to start and just kind of hum gently at whatever pitch feels comfortable or natural. You want to take note of what is the comfort level pitch. Is it ridiculously high? Is it ridiculously low in the voice? But what feels kind of like the average of all the notes you've sung so far? Now it's the middle of the day. I have even bubblage. But let's say you start to do that and you're having a lot of splash zone material. That tells us too much effort's going into the sound production. So you want to just let go. You want to relax and let that sound come back to neutrality. The volume level and the effort level that you feel physically in the throat should only reach about a 5 on a 10-point scale. That we don't want a ton of sound. We want to be very gentle on the vocal folds. So now I'm going to start up here, and my tenors and basses. You should also start up in the falsetto and work your way down. For my sopranos and my altos, you're going to start about F major, C natural, an octave above middle C. And we're just going to walk gently down the scale as we hum through the straw. It may feel like ah, oh, or in the back, but we want as much gentle space as we can create. So let us begin. A 1, 2, 3, go. Now, sopranos and altos, if we've reached a place where it's too low, feel free to drop out right here and come back in a moment. And my tenors and basses, we're going to keep going down. Hopefully you've had a smooth transition back into what feels like your full voice or your natural voice. Now I'm actually going to hold my straw with my finger here to try and keep a little bit more stability there as we come down, so it's not as sputtery and I'm not getting as much backsplash from the edge of the water inside of the cup. That, if you can see, I'm angled here to try and get this into the shot a little bit better. Perfection. Three more. I lost count. Maybe one more. Now I'm doing too many things. Filming, plus this, plus whatever's going on outside on our street today. It's a lot of work, right? However, hopefully you already feel several things. You feel a little bit of a back pressure of airstream flowing into the vocal folds as air is flowing outwards. The body will subconsciously create a nice balanced system from that. But again, if you're hyperfunctional, if you're pushing too much air through the vocal folds, you're not going to feel much of an airstream coming back. Again, gentle is the answer here. So a 5 is great. Maybe even a 4 is better. A 6 is okay, but if you start to feel an effort and an increase above that 6, we want to back off from the vocal folds. So now we're going to come back up here. This one's going to be for my sopranos and altos. Tenors and basses, hang out for a moment. We're going to come back to you. And my sopranos and altos, we're going to kind of slide in a circular fashion up and down between an open fifth, 2 pitches. And then we're going to come back down. So we're going to go. And if we can get that a little bit gentler even. Now that I've demonstrated with a hyperfunctional sound, there's a little bit of excess hyperfunctionality that wants to carry on. We want to relax that. And often students report when we do water-based phonation exercises, it feels like the sound is only happening here. There's very little extra resonance that is going on. That is okay. We want to keep this as relaxed and open as possible. So as long as you don't feel pain, you don't feel squeeze coming back into the voice, then everything should be okay. Keep going up without me. Let's do 2 more. Last one. I'll rejoin in a moment. Now, tenors and basses, this is a good place to rejoin. There's an area of crossover here for you all and the sopranos and altos. We're going to keep going back down the keyboard, starting here and... One more. Now, let's talk about some warning signs. If, as you're working through the straw and the water, you start to feel... and your bubblage goes really small, but everything feels really, really tight. Hypertension is the answer. Too much squeeze in the vocal folds. So take things down to a very simplistic, maybe 3 notes, which is actually going to be our closing exercise as well. But bring it back to 3 notes and try to get things to relax back open. That you should start to feel a shift in your speaking voice. Often at sopranos and altos, feel things elevate a little bit, and for tenors and basses, either the pitch level feels stable or you'll feel a similar elevation, maybe about a whole step, maybe a third will be what kind of increases for you, but that in that stability situation, the body will actually drop the cricothyroid or the Adam's apple one more time, and you'll feel this kind of brotasticness to the sound, and that's okay too. But if you start to crack as you're doing things too, so we have kind of that last exercise that we did, but it cracks, and like yodel wavers big and heavy, then that tells us that there's an interruption to the airflow, possibly an attempt to squeeze, that the brain is sending a signal to relax, or that you're also using too much kind of thickness, chest voice, or effort to the voice. That people kind of report that differently in pop rock styles, that instead of kind of pristine terms that we maybe use like head, chest, or mix, that oftentimes in pop rock styles, thick, thin is the answer, and so it feels like things jump from a thin vocal fold to a thick one, or the walls of the throat often are what they report as thin versus thick. But however you might feel it, we want to try and always come back to medium neutral. Now, we're going to do this last exercise. I want my tenors and basses to start down here. Sopranos and altos are going to start up here. And I'm going to be demonstrating down the octave, so just know that you may want to jump back up. But what we want to make sure in this last exercise is that we make sure everything is very smooth, that each transition between notes is uninterrupted and not like little beads or little delineations of notes. We want to make sure that every note moves very flowingly into the other. So with that though, we bring the range down to a 3-note pattern, very short distance, do, re, mi, re, do, so everybody's right next door to one another. And this would be the last exercise to do and then silence for the rest of the night. So if you know you're going to go home after the show and you're going to talk to your partner, your loved one, your family, or whomever, the dog, the cat, you want to make sure that once you are done talking, you do this exercise and then you remain silent until the next morning. Exercises, straw phonation in general, even the straw without the cup of water, are very, very good for you. So it's a great way to start in the morning. It's a great way to start the warm-up process. The answer to both sides, warming up and cooling down, is low and slow. A lot of people neglect and think they have to be able to stretch immediately through the range, but remember, Simone Biles, the first thing she does is get her body warmed up. Exercise theory has shown us so much new stuff in the musical world that we're able now to train very much like athletes at The Voice. So we want to make sure that we're bringing everything down. So you've run a marathon, you've gone down to jogging, we're about to hit walking pace now. And we just want to make sure that the walking pattern is smooth, nothing hurts, and that everything is relaxed and gentle to go into silent mode and recoup for the night. But the other thing you've got to do is drink lots of water. So after you're done with this cup of water, you can have a sip, or two, you also have to make sure that you're getting silence and rest. Pop rock shows are very intense, and it's kind of the high risk, high reward thing, but the risk is we can accidentally injure ourselves. But hopefully doing this will help us repair every night, and we won't feel so exhausted at the end of things, or kind of like rode hard. Yes, so we're going to start here. And we're going to gently come up to the middle of the voice. So we're moving from about A major to about E major is what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to call it. All right? So, together we go. Two more. And that's where we're going to call it for the day. Or the night, actually, because you're probably watching this at night. I don't know when you're going to actually be watching this. That we'll find out, though, will we? But if you ever have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. That it's sheltonprivatevoicestudio@gmail.com. And you can always ask me questions. If you need help finding a voice teacher here in the area, I can connect you to many of my colleagues who are great. We are blessed to have so many colleagues in the Madison area that are doing great work, doing the work, and helping train everybody to the next echelon and the next level. But if you need anything else, like one of these videos, please let me know. We can always try to edit something together very quickly here. And I look forward to hearing you in rehearsals and on performance days. And other than that, sleep tight. Have a good night if you're watching this at night. And if you're not, if you're watching this first thing in the morning and getting ready, I hope you have a great day today too. But as you can tell, I've already switched several times in my voice now, and this is actually around 12:30 in the afternoon after I've taught for a few hours already this morning. But this is a great way to reset throughout the day if you like. And again, all you need is a little bit of water and a straw, and you're golden. Cheers.